The Locked On Podcast Network presents the NFL Big 3 in 30. The 3 biggest stories in the NFL from our local experts at the Locked On Podcast Network. We bring you the real story, why it matters, what's next, who wins the big game, and more, all in 30 minutes. The NFL Big 3 in 30 starts now with the biggest story in the NFL.
The Dallas Cowboys tied the Packers in week 4.
You are Locked On Cowboys, your daily Dallas Cowboys podcast.
To quote John Malkovich in one of my favorite movies, I feel so unsatisfied, Layden. You play hard all game long. Rounders, by the way. You play hard all game long, and you thought you had this game won, and it ends up in a tie.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If as far as ties go, this is about as thrilled as I think I could be with the tie, because at least the Packers are walking away from AT&T Stadium disappointed. The Cowboys are too, but
Just to be clear, I agree with you. I think the Packers feel much worse about this tie than what the Cowboys do.
And they should, right? Like, especially since they were 7-point favorites, and look, I think that they obviously had the Cowboys in a spot a couple different times where they probably should have put this game away. And once again, it was somebody tweeted at me, and said when the Cowboys, I think, scored their first touchdown, well, congratulations, you only lose by 15 points. And I very easily replied, yes, it's not like the Packers are known to let lesser teams play with them and into games. And sure enough, that's what happened over and over again. The Packers, despite having a really good offensive performance for most of the game, their defense fell apart at certain points. And after the initial portion of the game for the Cowboys offense, where they really kind of struggled at different points, they went on a run, which I think they only punted one time for the rest of the game. So, just a crazy game in the way it swung back and forth, and also just the way the game was going. It was a low scoring affair early, and then obviously as the game got to the end, these two teams were just trading, huge right hooks to each other's face. So it was quite a fun game.
It was a really fun game. I think the frustrating point or part for me is it felt like the Cowboys had this game won a couple different times, and they just weren't able to quite put them away. For example, I thought when the Cowboys got the ball for the last time in regulation, they had a really good kickoff return by Kevontae Turpin. Ferguson had a nice catch. Tolbert had a really nice catch. So they had first down and 10 from Green Bay's 28-yard line with 43 seconds left. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. Dallas has a timeout. You can play the clock, and you can score with no time left. And Pickens scores a touchdown. I thought he could maybe go down to 1, but still, you're up by 3 points with 40 seconds left. And of course, Green Bay kicks the field goal. And then in overtime, right, you had the awesome play to Jalen Tolbert where he catches the ball at the 5-yard line. And you felt like, okay, hey, the Cowboys, they're going to score a touchdown now. They haven't been stopped at the red zone all day. And then they don't get another yard for the rest of the game. I'm not saying I'm disappointed, but it just felt like they had their chances to win it, and they couldn't make that last play to get over the hump.
Yeah, I mean, they're not that team yet. You know what I'm saying? Like they're still a young group, and they're still working towards that. And honestly, that was what the Packers were supposed to be doing. Like, if anything, that's what the Packers have to be really disappointed that they weren't the team, because they're the team that's, the Super Bowl contender, the NFC favorite type talk team. So the fact that the Cowboys weren't able to kind of put it all together and finish without CeeDee Lamb and without, the key offensive lineman, that's not shocking. I think what is shocking is that they were able to put together a game in which they were competitive and stuck in this entire game. And frankly, to be even in a spot to be winning it, is a little bit shocking and surprising. The fact that they couldn't, make the last second decision. I mean, look, Pickens not making the smart on-field decision to finish the game.
Well, and to be honest, I don't know if that was coached or not. Like, I don't know if the Cowboys were telling him to go down at the 1 or not. Like, I think
I'm sure
that's a little tricky when you're down by 4 not to score. But I mean, I do think your win probability is higher if you go down at the 1, but also it's not like you're just lining up to kick a field goal either. So I'm not totally blaming him for that one. It just, there were moments like that in this game where you just felt like, man, maybe if you do one thing differently, you're 2-2 rather than 1-2-1.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think I'll take this game the way it played out, but I certainly agree that there were moments that it felt like, despite all the odds, the Cowboys had opportunities to put the game away and didn't quite get the job done. But, like the fact that they were even in this game, I think showed a lot of heart and a lot of fight. So I was certainly thrilled with that part.
Yeah, and let's talk about that, because I do agree with that. If the Cowboys were 6.5 points underdogs on FanDuel, and you came into this game without CeeDee Lamb, without Tyler Booker, without Cooper Beebe, obviously without Overshown on defense, and you were already really banged up on both sides of the ball, you get into this game and Tyler Guyton has a concussion he's dealing with. So now you've got a bunch of backup offensive linemen in the game, and you go toe-to-toe with a team that we think has a good chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, and some of those guys, including Nate Thomas, completely were locking up Micah Parsons. So it felt like it was a really good performance by several of your young offensive linemen. The backups looked like they played great football, which you're not shocked about because you've seen them play well before. Brock Hoffman specifically felt like he had a really fantastic game. So, and then you got to see some Nate Thomas on both sides, playing on the left and the right, because he rotated in for Steele at one point, played well, and then he went in for Guyton when Guyton was in a concussion protocol for a little bit. So, and did well. Like, they didn't let him down. So, just incredible supporting performances for Dak Prescott tonight and allowing him to kind of go absolutely nuclear. I mean, just one of the greatest Dak games I think we'll ever see, to be honest.
Yeah, and I want to talk about Dak Prescott going nuclear against the Packers. One more thing, I thought this was a very up and down game for the coaching staff. I thought there were some moments, especially in the first half, where I thought Brian Schottenheimer was a little too conservative. It feels like they remedied that a little bit in the second half. They got way more aggressive. I just think their opening game plan of like run. That's great in theory. Can't do
the 3-run thing is not good, but I will say I do think that too many folks were too quick to call him conservative early in the half, because I think the point of the early game was to just not let it get away from you. Like, you needed to keep the game close,
but it almost did though. Like they went,
but it did, but it didn't though. Like, that's the
kind of.
Look, if you go for it on fourth down and then they have the ball on the 13-yard line, right? They score a touchdown anyways. Like, then you're down, like, what is it, 20-2, I think it is at that point. And then suddenly you have to get into a game script that you don't want to get. By keeping the game close, at least close enough, they were able to continue to play a balanced game script, which kept them out of the danger zone.
Well, it was 7-0 on the 4th and 1 that the Cowboys didn't go for. But here's where I got a little bit frustrated. First 3 drives of the game: 3 plays, 6 yards punt; 5 plays, 15 yards punt; 3 plays, 4 yards punt. Like, they were just so conservative. Every first down was a run. They had some second and long runs, and then things got going a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot after that. But
yeah,
man, they played so conservative in the first half, like they were just afraid of the Packers. And I think as the game settled in, and really as they got that strip sack on Jordan Love, things changed a little bit. But you can't go into these games being that conservative.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I also think that they were going in like extremely shorthanded with young offensive linemen, shorthanded on talent. I'm not going to badger them for being conservative early when they were just trying to keep it a close game.
Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's a 401k or properties or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. I linked all my accounts to Monarch and immediately spotted a few subscriptions I wasn't even using. Canceling those all can save you money every month. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONNFL.
Chiefs pull to 500 by beating the Baltimore Ravens in what was more dramatic fashion than we originally thought.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
Thanks for joining us, Matt. First question for you. It felt like this just got going from the get-go. I was a little worried, honestly, with the usage of Xavier in the runs in particular, but I do feel like he was the spark, and a lot of fans feel that he is the spark. But I would say that this is only part of it yet. Should it have been such a lift to get one player back, knowing that Rashee Rice is a few weeks away as well?
Well, I mean, I think if you're a Chiefs fan, that's the magic of right now in this game, is that you see what an impact Xavier Worthy has on this team. And, I thought I had an idea about what the gap was. And this is no knock on Tyquan Thornton and Juju and Hollywood or anybody else. I thought I had a good grasp on what the gap was between Xavier Worthy and the other group of receivers on this team. And I was wrong. I mean, I think there's a wider gap between Xavier and everybody else. And then there's a little bit more of a gap between Rashee and Xavier. So you're talking about getting two Pro Bowl caliber, one maybe all pro caliber receiver, and adding them into this offense. And it's not like you're just adding guys at preseason either. You're adding guys who know the offense, who've been here, who've worked around and have got that are a part of it. You're not just like squeezing in a veteran like a DeAndre Hopkins into this offense. You're taking two guys in their prime with skills that know the offense that you're just going to be plopping back in. And so I thought that Xavier was a bigger spark, I thought, than Pacheco was. I mean, I think just from the very get-go, the first play, Worthy being able to get the ball, take a hit, get back up. They got the penalty to the 15 yards. I thought that was big. And, and later on when he had that 38-yard run on the 35-yard run on the reverse, that was just kind of the nail in the coffin. I mean, at that point, you just really had the sense the Ravens were completely and totally done. So, and the fact that they were able to get Worthy so involved, I mean, he had 8 targets in the game, and he told us after the game he's exhausted because they wore him out today. But the layoff he had and everything, there was no knocking off the rust for Xavier Worthy today. They put him to work. And I think that was the spark that they needed. I mean, we saw it. You add Xavier Worthy to this offense and other things open up. Add Rashee Rice and even more things are going to open up.
Yeah, and the thing that really got me excited was the deep pass from Mahomes to Worthy, because it showed Mahomes actually putting something right in the basket. Worthy didn't really even have to adjust. He put it right in his hands. And when you talk about Worthy's injury, it's a matter of, reaching for the ball or going up for the ball that's going to cause an issue. Didn't have to do that on that deep ball. Didn't really have to do it. And I loved the way that they used him in the passing game today. And, I kept sitting there watching him go down in the middle of the field going, I do not care, because you watched how much he changed the offense for this team. And the fact that he knew he has to get down, if he continues to play that way and continues to go down after, a 5 or 6 yard catch because he doesn't want to take a big hit, I'm fine with that. That's all I really get through the season. That's all I really care about at this point. And he is such a huge addition to this offense. And the thing, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. The thing that really excites me about Worthy coming back is because of what happened with Worthy, you had Tyquan Thornton step into a role he wasn't expected to be in. And I think it made him a better wide receiver. And I think the Chiefs are going to be getting paid dividends on that the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think the same thing. I mean, the fact that you've been able to get a bigger role out of Tyquan and get him kind of acclimated into the offense, you are the better for it. I mean, again, you can see the gap between Xavier and these other guys. So once the Chiefs get back Rice and Worthy and they're able to keep those guys on the field, it really just makes you wonder what they can do. And even the throw that you mentioned, like the one deep ball that Worthy did haul in, I mean, again, I like Tyquan Thornton. He can't make that catch. I mean, that's a ball, that kind of, sideline corner route that, Worthy can make. He might be the only receiver on the team that can make that catch. That's a complicated ball. And, hey, they missed a couple of other deep balls that they would love to hit on. Hey, you're not going to hit them all, but if they hit on one of those and maybe hit 50% instead of 25%, this probably game, well, what happens? It's 44-20 instead of 37-20. But they got what they needed to do, which is that, hey, those deep routes, the Worthy, that opened up things. It opened up things for Kelsey. It opened up things for Juju. Hollywood, I mean, it opened up things for him too. And if you look at the running game numbers, you would say that as well. I mean, once again, not great numbers, but Pacheco in 7 carries, 35 yards. I mean, that's his best performance of the season so far. You'd like to have more yards and more production, but it was at least efficient, which is something that the Chiefs haven't had on the ground so far this year.
I think the guttural piece of it is important too. And the thing that stood out to me live that really was that gut reaction is that I saw Patrick get to the point where he normally would be uncomfortable in the pocket, to the point where he could almost be touched. He could reach out and touch the backside of the shoulder pads for his lineman and still deliver the ball. This is a pocket that he would have abandoned a couple of weeks ago. And I thought that was a big step forward in his confidence, in his showing confidence in the O-line. What did you take from that? And did you see something that I didn't?
Yeah, one of the storylines of the week was whether, Patrick and this Chiefs offense was going to take what happened in the second half against the Giants and move forward with that. Or were we going to see a mixture, a regression? Because the second half against the Giants was good. I mean, I don't want to oversell it. It was good because the Giants defense is pretty bad too. But at least the Chiefs and Patrick were getting back into doing some good elements that are fundamental to their offense. And today, I think you saw the continuation of that. You look at a bunch of the numbers, and I think you get pretty enthusiastic about Mahomes' performance because, he did get rid of the ball quickly quite a bit. And historically, when Patrick makes quick decisions, they're usually good decisions. So he's always been a really good passer when he gets rid of the ball quickly. But the other part of it is that it's when he's able to trust what the guys around him are doing, especially the offensive line, and keep his eyes downfield. So much of the last couple of years with the revolving door at left tackle, it always felt like that even when Patrick was playing well, he had one eye downfield and one eye behind him to see where the pressure was coming from. And it looked like he wasn't worrying about that in the second half against the Giants. He was just pushing the ball downfield and keeping his eyes down that direction, going through his progressions, which, I mean, that's just essentially all it is. It's ABC football. It's you look at your first read, not there, second, third, fourth, fifth. And hey, today, more often than not, his first or second read was there. So he took it and got rid of it. The few times that it wasn't, once again, instead of, like you said, Ryan, instead of bolting the pocket, he tries to keep his eyes downfield and to find a play to make it. And, you look around, I mean, there's a bunch of different numbers that'll tell you that how good of a day that the Chiefs offensive line had. A Kingsley, I don't think had a pressure. I think there was a couple of the other guys that had some really good stats today too. So, I mean, Patrick was good in all forms. I mean, he was good when he held on to the ball. He was good when he got rid of it. He was good when he moved in the pocket. I mean, this is kind of classic Patrick Mahomes that we saw today.
The thing I liked most about what I saw from Mahomes was on several plays. The first touchdown, I think, was to Juju. He fired the ball. He hit his back foot, and the ball was out immediately. But it goes beyond that because you also watched him on several different RPOs decide, wait a second, that throws there. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to hit it. And he hit it quick. And those are the types of plays that when you see him hitting those types of things, you know that he's locked in and he's going to have a good game. And 4 touchdowns, 270 yards, goes over 250 touchdowns in his career for Patrick Mahomes. That's exciting to see. I think that when you look at what this offense has been the past couple of weeks and you look at what Xavier Worthy changed in this offense, it wasn't just Worthy, though. You bring in Brashard Smith, and he had a bigger impact in this game. He had more plays in this game than we have seen. And I do think that there's a correlation there with how they used Brashard Smith. And there were times where I saw Smith on the field with either Pacheco or Hunt. So it wasn't like they were just having one running back out there, and it was Brashard Smith. They were having him in there playing a wide receiver type role or playing, a running back role and having 2 running backs, which they haven't done a ton this year. So I like what I saw from the offense. I like what I saw from Patrick. He looked determined. He was hitting his marks. The only thing that I think that you could take away from him, and he was laughing about it, was the one time he decided to start to run and then went 2 yards past the line of scrimmage and then came back and tried to throw the ball. Can't do that. But you know what? you look at the rest of the game, though, the offensive line played a clean game. I don't think there was one offensive line penalty, and Juwan Taylor had a clean game. You got to feel good about that going forward, and to see what and I understand it was the backup defensive line for the Baltimore Ravens, but to see the time that Mahomes was given multiple times in this game, and to see Josh Simmons continue to develop and continue to look like he is going to be their answer at left tackle, it's really exciting to see. Matt, is there anything else you want to add about the defense?
Yeah, I mean, once again, I'll pitch out the last touchdown beat that Justice Hill had because the backups were in. So, hey, you're not going to put down the number one defense. So you held a Baltimore Ravens offense that's been going up and down the field to 13 points essentially. And I don't know, I have not heard specifically what maybe was the issue with Derrick Henry, why he was not in there, especially in some key moments. 4th and 1, Derrick Henry was not on the field. Really. Kind of confused about that one. There were some moments that it looked like they certainly needed him. So whether he's banged up, lack of faith, combination of the above, I don't know. But he did. Henry had a couple of big plays against the Chiefs early, but once again, I mean, was not in there for some of their big plays. You put the ball into the hands of Lamar Jackson, and what did the Chiefs do? I mean, they pressured him. I think it was like a 48% pressure rate on Lamar Jackson today. Like, that's one of the worst of his careers. I mean, they really got after him, and that's Steve Spagnuolo's plan, is that when especially against a quarterback like Lamar Jackson, what he wants to do is keep him in the pocket, force him to beat you with his arm, and he could not do that today. I mean, good grief. And now, granted, I guess it was two different quarterbacks, but both the same play. The Ravens had 2 4th downs where their quarterback chucked the ball out of bounds on 4th down. Because, I mean, it wasn't like just really throwing it away. It's just was trying to throw it for their life to at least give them a chance at a play. But they were so harassed that they couldn't even get the ball to where it was catchable. I mean, that's what a good defense does. And, and particularly I thought the Chiefs' safety play again was really good. Hey, Brian Cook, don't get the 15-yard penalty, but for slamming the guy to the ground. But other than that, I thought the safeties played really well. The defensive line had a better performance. George Karlaftis gets a sack. I think he had 4 quarterback hurries on top of that too. So there was a lot, I mean, good up and down. And hey, Leo Chenal, first career interception. First interception in 5 years. You have to go back to college in 2020, back at Wisconsin, for the only other interception of Leo Chenal's career.
It's pretty impressive.
I was just going to say, you said a key there. They kept him contained. That was huge, containing Lamar and continuously not allowing him to get outside of the pocket. I think they only lost contained 1 or 2 times through that entire game. Sorry, Ryan.
No, you're absolutely right. And what I was going to say is that I thought you got standouts from Leo, certainly, but I thought Noah Williams held up admirably as well. There was a play to D-Hop that I think he got a PBU on, as well as that catch that was negated by a penalty, but still he was there. And I thought for pushing a rookie into that against this particular group that has had some success against this team, I thought that was a positive sign as well.
The NFL season is here, and FanDuel is making sure you're ready for the weekend with a can't-miss offer. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. I love using FanDuel because it fits how I like to bet in the moment. Player props, building a same-game parlay, or even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It's quick, it's easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sunday. So are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
The Pittsburgh Steelers sure made it close against the Vikings, but they got the job done. And in doing so, I think they looked as closest as they have to being complete.
You are Locked On Steelers, your daily Pittsburgh Steelers podcast.
Your Pittsburgh Steelers went into Dublin, Ireland, and got the dub 24-21 over the Minnesota Vikings in what turned out to be a close game. But the Steelers controlled it for most of the game. And I think the things that they did to control the pace of the game up until the end, where it did get a little close, are very good signs of where this team is and where they are right now is atop the AFC North at 3-1, heading into their Week 4 bye week, and a much needed bye week. Early on in the season, when they saw what I saw a Week 4 bye, I'm like, that's terrible for them, or a Week 5 bye, excuse me. But I was like, this is terrible for them. They get 4 games to bye. They absolutely need it, and I think a big part of why they were in this trouble. We'll get to the injuries in a bit and what they might mean. But A big part of the trouble, I think, at the end, you saw that busted play. I think it was to Jordan Addison for 81 yards or so that put the Vikings in position to get close to make the game even closer. As I was counting, Jalen Ramsey, we knew Joey Porter was out for this game. Brandon Echols was down at that point, and we know Corey Trice had been in. 4 of their top 5 cornerbacks were out, and that kind of led to that problem. But despite those problems, and we know they're missing Alex Highsmith, and we know Calvin Austin got into the game, this team found ways to win and played the closest that I've seen them play to the style of ball that I think this team is designed to play all season. What do I mean by that? Well, Jordan Mason, Vikings running back who had a great week last week and was looking pretty strong in what was, I believe, the 6th highest scoring offense going into this game, only averaged 3.6 yards per carry. They limited him in this game, did not let him be a factor. Yes, Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison did go off. Each had over 100 yards receiving. But it seemed almost as if the Steelers were like, hey, we're going to give you some plays here and there, but we're going to make sure you can't run the ball, and we're going to give ourselves the chance to make plays. And this defense certainly made plays, finishing the game with 6 sacks, 2 turnovers. Deshaun Elliott, huge coming back from his injury in this game, was everywhere, blitzing the quarterback, stuffing the run, breaking up passes, intercepting passes. He was huge to what this defense wanted to be in this game. T.J. Watt doing what he does, tipping a pass and intercepting it, getting pressures, throughout the game. I thought he was really sharp in that respect. Even Connor Benton was getting busy in this game. I think he finished with a sack in this contest. Nick Herbig continues to get after it with 1.5 sacks, and Benton actually had 1.5 himself. Excuse me. Patrick Queen, I thought, had a really good day. 11 tackles, a sack, and 2 more tackles for loss on top of the sack. He also had Peyton Wilson playing well. I think what allowed the defense to be this version of their defense, even without some of their key players from in late in the game, but during the main course of the game, they were able to be more aggressive. They stuffed the run so they could be more aggressive on 3rd downs. And what did I say towards the end of the week? I said it, I believe, on the Wednesday show. I said it again on the Friday show. This team, if they want to be good, they got to be better at 3rd downs. They were 28th going into this week, and I said this is a great week for them to reset that problem against the team that was 29th in 3rd down offense, and they did just that. They held the Vikings to 4 of 14 on 3rd downs in this game, oftentimes getting home with pressure and having the right coverage behind them when they didn't get home with pressure. And that was a great culmination of what they were trying to do in this game, forcing the Vikings into more 3rd and longs being able to do it. And we said this the last few weeks. We said, hey, against the Seahawks, they lost. They said they forced a few more 3rd and longs than they did the Jets week. Then the week after that, they forced even more 3rd and longs, but they let them just escape a couple more times than you wanted. This week, that wasn't the issue. The Steelers' defense was able to get home. They were sending blitz from the left side, outside, right side, inside. They were coming from everywhere, and that's where I think this defense wants to be. They want to be aggressive, downhill, attacking. You saw Peyton Wilson flying up to the line of scrimmage when he was ready to play. There was a play where he read the screen beautifully, shut it down before it even got going. Patrick Queen, I thought, was doing a great job up the middle. This unit as a defense, we'll get to the offense in a bit because I thought that they did really well as well. I felt that this was the most aggressive and controlling controlling play that they've given this year so far that has allowed them to control the pace of play for most of the game. And again, started to break out in the end of the game. And this team was built on being able to have its cornerbacks be able to be aggressive. Even having Brandon Echols, when he came off the field, that was a big difference for the Steelers because he was essentially their first cornerback off the bench. Because remember, Ramsey, Porter, and Slay, not one of those guys is necessarily a backup. They're all supposed to be on the field as much as they can for this team. It's a 3 cornerback team, but they prefer to have those guys out because they want to use them in different coverage situations, use Jalen Ramsey all over the place, let him be a chess piece for the defense. And doing so, Brandon Echols then becomes really the first backup on the team. But he goes down, and you already have 2 other guys gone. Jalen Ramsey had to exit this game, I believe, and Joey Porter Jr. didn't get healthy enough in time to play in this game. Then you are up against it because then you are throwing James Pierre out there, and then you're throwing other guys out there that normally wouldn't be on the field. But I thought for the most part, even without Ramsey, and you can even tell he was kind of banged up at one point, the Steelers' defense was able to play their style of football. And again, it's blitzing, bringing the heat, getting after the quarterback, making it tough on him, stuffing the run, making them have to win on 3rd and longs that they're uncomfortably going to. And sometimes they'll hit it, and they did. Again, they got 4 times in this one, but that's 29% that they were able to hold them to on 3rd downs. You're going to win a lot of games that if you're able to hold them to 29%. And again, we'll get to the Steelers offense because I think they showed some promise too. They also, I thought, could have finished this game a lot sooner. But still, I don't think there's any doubting this Steelers team is getting closer to figuring it out. And when I say it out, I mean figuring out how to reach the potential that we all saw and we talked about in the offseason, in the spring ball, in the training camp. And when we were saying like, hey, I'm seeing potential. I'm seeing this defense being able to play at a higher level. I'm seeing the potential for this offense, and this offensive line can come together. And I want to talk about that O-line in this next segment. But from Deshaun Elliott, you saw him being back, how big of an impact he made in this game. Imagine if they had him against the Seahawks 2 weeks ago. This team, this defense would have been even better then. Imagine if they had him last week. Maybe they make even more turnovers happen, right? I thought they did a really good job containing what the Vikings did. And again, this was the 6th highest scoring offense or scoring team going into this game. And again, their defense wasn't nothing to sneeze at either. They were the 11th best scoring defense going into this game. But the Steelers continue to find answers in this game. They were able to draw up different things. I thought the Steelers largely in this game out-schemed the Vikings. They were able to get pressures in the right points, put them in the advantageous situations. The Vikings kind of needed some of the breaks to roll their way in this game for them to even be able to stay in it, but it wasn't enough. The Steelers outplayed them, outmaneuvered them, and the Steelers found a way to win in the end, even with a few things bouncing away from them. But like I said, it wasn't just the defense being closer to who they're supposed to be. And again, the pass rush being a big factor, the coverage being better, even without their top players back there still with Ramsey. You hope that Ramsey and Porter can come back after the bye. But the offense also looked closer to what you wanted this offense to look like for a very long time. And granted, this is the first year still that you're seeing Troy Fautanu play right tackle, Broderick Jones play left tackle, and you're seeing them come together. But I do think you're seeing them come together in a good way.